Welcome to the Explainer. You ever wonder why so many software projects just crash and burn? They end up costing companies billions. Well, today we're going to get into exactly why that happens and, more importantly, how you can make sure your project is one of the winners. All right, let's dive in. So let's just start with a pretty shocking number, shall we? A U.S. study looked at over 13,000 projects and found that a staggering 82% were late, and almost half of them blew past their budget. That is just an incredible amount of wasted time and money. So, the big question is, how do you keep your project from becoming another statistic? Well, the key isn't just about managing better while the project's happening. No, the real secret is asking the right, tough questions before you even think about writing a single line of code. We're calling this process the Project Gauntlet. To really get the solution, first we have to understand the problem. So let's take a little walk through the project graveyard, a landscape that is just littered with failed and half-finished projects. Okay, first things first, what even is a project? It's not your day-to-day work, that's for sure. A project is a specific, planned mission. It has a clear beginning and a clear end. So, for example, developing a brand new online shopping system, that's a project. Just doing routine server maintenance, that's an operation. See the difference? When these projects get mismanaged, the amount of waste is just unbelievable. We're talking billions and billions of dollars. And that's why good software project management isn't just some nice-to-have skill. It is absolutely essential if you want to control costs, hit your deadlines, and actually deliver a quality product. Okay, so your amazing project idea is ready for its first big test. It has to step up to the gate and answer the most important question of all. Is this thing actually worth doing? And this is where something called the business case comes in. You can think of it as the project's official proposal. It's a formal document that basically forces you to prove with actual data that your idea is going to deliver real, tangible business value. You know, at its core, the entire business case really just boils down to one simple concept: a cost-benefit analysis. You're weighing what you're going to spend against what you're going to gain. Simple as that. Is the reward actually worth the cost? Now, there are a few ways you can run this analysis, but let's look at three of the most powerful ones. First up, you've got payback analysis. That just tells you how quickly you'll get your initial investment back. Then there's return on investment, or ROI, which calculates the project's profitability as a nice, simple percentage. And finally, there's net present value, NPV, which is super important for long-term projects because it accounts for a simple truth. Money you have today is worth more than the same amount of money you might get tomorrow. Let's zoom in on ROI for a sec, because it's a really common and powerful way to measure profitability. The formula is actually super straightforward. You figure out the net profit. That's just total benefits minus total costs. Then you divide that profit by the total cost. Multiply by 100, and boom, you've got a nice, clean percentage. Let's apply this to our online shopping system example. So imagine the total cost to develop it is 10 locks. And in its very first year, it generates 13 locks in benefits. Things like more sales, better efficiency, you name it. So if we follow the formula, the net profit is 3 lakhs. You take that profit, you divide it by the 10 lakh cost, and you get a return on investment of 30%. All of a sudden, this isn't just some vague idea anymore. It is a concrete number that management can use to compare this project directly against any other potential investment. It's powerful stuff. Fantastic. So your project passed the financial test. It's proven its worth. But now it has to face the next challenge in the gauntlet. We need to figure out what kind of project this is so we can pick the right way to manage it. So how do we sort these projects? Well, one of the first big splits is this. Are you building a software product that you're going to sell to many people, or are you providing a software service for a specific client? And even within those, you can get more specific. Is it a generic tool for everybody, or is it for a very specific industry? Each one of these needs a completely different playbook to succeed. Here's another way to look at it. What's its function? Are you building an information system, like a stock control system that helps people do their jobs better? Or is it an embedded system, software that physically controls a machine, like the one in your air conditioner? The approach, the risks, the kind of team you need, totally different for each one. All right, the The code is written. The system is deployed. The long journey is over, right? Well, not quite. Now we have to look up at the final scoreboard and ask the tough question, did we actually win? The signs are usually pretty clear. Success isn't just about getting it done. A successful project gets delivered on time, it stays within budget, and it meets quality standards. But most importantly, it makes the stakeholders happy, and it achieves the original business goals. Failure? Well, that's a story of missed deadlines, blown budgets, and in the end, a product that nobody wants or that provides zero real value. So after all that blood, sweat, and tears, the final judgment comes right back to the very first question we asked, the most important one of all. And here it is. If you strip away all the complexity, the tech, the meetings, all of it, it all comes down to this one simple equation. A project is a success only if the value of its benefits is more than its costs. That's it. That is the bottom line.
That single question is the challenge that every new project idea has to face. But now, you have the framework to evaluate it, to guide it, and maybe, just maybe, help it survive the gauntlet. Thanks for joining the Explainer.